Hi everybody. What we have here is a waterfall chart, and a waterfall chart graphs cash flow over a period of time. If you look at the schedule that we have over here on the side, you can see how we start out with about $200,000, as you see here, and throughout the year we're either losing cash or adding cash, and we've got some sort of like a running total or running balance here. And we can kind of see that graphically depicted here. We can see how we started with that. Then as of about January 1st, we lost about 50,000. All right. And then we added 25,000. We lost another 20, added 24, and so forth. And up to that point now, at about the $122,000 point. But the point of the matter is that you're able to see graphically how the cash flow increased or decreased over time, and then eventually we find our end here at 218,000. So we actually ended up adding a few dollars by year end. So let's go ahead and see how we can put something like this together. So I'm going to go back over to my empty one here, and what you need to have first of all obviously is some sort of a schedule, something that shows dates as well as either outgoing or incoming cash. All right, and it's up to you if you want to put like little interims in here kind of showing what you have up to that point, because what we're going to be doing is graphing these two columns. We're not going to be graphing the balance here. All right, so you can set something like this up. The way I did it was at the end of the close to at the end of the first quarter, getting into the second quarter, what we have here is 122,000 and so forth. So you'd have that in there, and then what we would do is go ahead, first of all we'd select this area. We'll go back into Insert, go over to our Charts area here, click onto that, go with the Waterfall, and that comes right in there. So then we'll take that, move it over here a little bit, and go ahead and just kind of get it to fill as much of the screen as you want it to. And there we are. Now we have a little bit of work to get this thing up to speed, but overall it's not very difficult. What we can start off first of all doing is taking the interim totals that we have here and turning them into totals to give them a different effect or different look on our chart here. So we'll start out first of all by clicking onto this guy here and then clicking it again, and that will then activate just that bar. We'll do a right click on it, and there's a choice there called Add as Total, and that'll put it as a total. We'll go to this one here, click onto it, right click it, Add as Total. Go to the next one here, click onto it, right click it, set as total. Go to the fourth quarter one here, right click it, set as total, and then the same thing with this one here, right click it, set as total. Then we can go back and take a look at and see what we have. And then as far as maybe coloring and so forth, if you don't really like what you see here for the colors, two ways we can go about that. We can either go up in here into the chart styles, click onto that little more button, and as you point to some of these, you can kind of see how they kind of change up in their style, like that. All right, so that's one thing. That's not going to really do much with the color, but you've got those. And then you also have then the change color button, which is a little bit more direct. And in here, this is what we're using right now. As you hover over the rest of them, you'll see how that changes as well. And they've got quite a few to work with here, so it's really up to you how you want to present it. But I'm going to go with my original and just kind of stay with that. But then what I'm going to do is go to these specific ones, these totaling ones that we had here, and I want to make those green. All right, so I'm going to click onto the first one, click it again, then focus on that one. I can then go over into the format area, and I've got my shape fill. I can click onto it, and I can find a color that I like. I'm just going to go with this one here. So I can click onto that, go to here. I'm just focused on that one. Click the button. Do the same thing on this one, and just kind of do it. Do it for all of those bars. Kind of give them a little bit different look there. Gray doesn't really jump out at you too much. All right, that's good. So there we have it so far. Now, another thing we can do is we can add some special effects to the bars overall. And we can do that by clicking on any one of the bars, no matter which one it is, and they'll all become selected. Then we go up into the Format tab. We can go over here to our Shape Effects, click onto that, find the shadow, and give it a little bit of a shadow kind of look to it. We can also, if you want to go a little bit more with the shadow, go back up in there. Missed it there. Go back in there, go to where your shadow's at, and then go all the way down to where it says Shadow Options. All right, and we can add a little bit more to the shadowing. So we can go ahead and change the distance a little bit. I'm going to use the arrow to do that, but as I hit the up arrow, you can see how it kind of casts out a little bit more, so you can do that just a little bit. You can also increase the blur of it a little bit, kind of do something like that. And you can also then change the size a little bit, like that. You can kind of see a slight difference there. So that's one thing we can do. And then we can add to that, we can go back in the Shape Effects, and we'll go in there and we'll go with the soft edges, and we can look at these. Oh, that's a little too much there. So something maybe like that. All right. Now that does make it quite, it does change it quite a bit. Now, what we can also do though is increase the width of this now, of the bars. So we can actually point to any of the bars, double click it, and you'll see the gap width in here. Right now, don't have a lot, it's set for 50%. If we bring it down, this number, you can see how it increases that width. So we can get it to something like, about like that. Not too bad. And if you decide to want to kind of change your mind with that, that fuzzy look there, we can always go back in to the Shape Effects, go to our soft edges, and right now we're working off of that third one. Maybe go back to the second one and do something like that. And that might get a little bit more. And then what we can also do, hate to keep on doing this back and forth, but I could double click the bar and then bring that gap up a little bit more. So we get a little bit more separation there. We can kind of see the shadow and go from there. As you can see, if you were a perfectionist, you will go nuts with this because it's never going to be good enough for you, right? So, but nonetheless, it's looking pretty good so far. I go ahead and put maybe a title into this. I'll go back up to the top there. I'll type in a title of some sort. And then go ahead and click onto that, and I can go back in my Home tab, make it a little bit bigger, something like that. I can take the legend that I have up here already, make that just a tad bigger, and maybe make it bold. All right, I didn't know if I made that bold. I made that bold, so that's good. All right, very good. Now I can click onto the axes here and make them bold, make them maybe a little bit bigger on each of those. Click it, bold, and a little bit bigger there. And then I can also put a picture into the background here, okay? So I'll double click it. I'll go to my fill. I'll go to where it says picture here. And it happens to have a picture I picked earlier, so that's already in there, but you would normally hit your file, find the picture that you want, all right? And there it is. And then you can, at this point, go ahead and kind of make it a little transparent so it's not taking up the whole show there. Just get enough to where you can sort of see the picture back there, and that's about it. All right, very good. So there we have our cash flow. Now, if we later on find out that maybe some of these numbers are wrong, you can change them. It automatically updates. So if I go over to this one here where it says 75,000, and it happens to be the May 28th one, that's this one right here, and I find out that that was really only 25,000, I would just type in 25,000, hit the enter key, and you see that all kind of drop down there. And then if I found out that maybe this one over here was actually only a negative 15,000, well then things get rosier. So overall, a nice look. Now there's one more little thing that you can do to this. We can actually, as we gave this one kind of like the soft edges here, we can actually make the whole graph, that whole rectangular area, kind of have a soft edge to it. So what you can do here is you kind of just click right on the edge here, and we go back into Format, go to our Shape Effects, there's our soft edges, and we can kind of do any of these. So as you hover over, you can kind of see how it kind of changed up a little bit. Nothing real major, you know, but just something that kind of looks a little bit different. I'll go with this one here, click that, and there we go. So I think we've got it. So hopefully this is something that all of you can maybe take a look at doing to present cash flow. I mean, it's kind of limited as to what it can do, but hopefully you can use this, and I appreciate you watching the video. Take care.